Somebody really messed up, and they had the worst cover-up ever. And where it should have stopped is at the deal standpoint, when they thought about it. Because whoever thought of that idea, I think is in big trouble.
Everybody digging my chili, what I'm laying down, that is not true.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
And then they have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick, it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right? And then when they get caught, they say, no, this is soup from my family. They're so innocent. This is soup from my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup from my family. And then the media says, this is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Watch Hillary examine the terrain. Watch a campaign with the man Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine in the membrane. Tim Kaine in the brain. Watch Hillary.
Who are you worried about? I'll tell you who I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that our workers are seeing a decline in their standard of living. They want to see our industry be rebuilt. That's what they want to see. No more B-2 bombers, no more Star Wars. Let's make the quality products we need. Let's invest in American industry. No, I won't yield.
He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Beau Biden. You're talking about me.
I don't know Beau. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know
got
Beau.
thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. It wasn't
for cocaine
dishonorably.
use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
Said the most potent force in the Republican Party is President Trump. We need Trump plus.
They felt pretty comfortable after day 2.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Look, we talk about education. I propose that what we take is those very poor schools, the Title I schools, triple the amount of money we spend from $15 to $45 billion a year. Give every single teacher a raise to the equal raise of getting out of the $60,000. Number 2, make sure that we bring into the help the teachers deal with the problems that come from home. The problems that come from home. We have one school psychologist for every 1,500 kids in America. It's crazy. The teachers are retired. I'm married to a teacher. My deceased wife is a teacher. They have every problem coming to them. We have to make sure that every single child does in fact have 3, 4, and 5-year-olds go to school, not daycare, school. We bring social workers into homes and parents to help them deal with how to raise their children. It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio.
Not a
Make
joke.
sure the television.
There's a guy
excuse
named
me.
Bill
Make
Wright
sure
house,
you have the
only
record
white
player
guy,
on at
and he
night.
did all the
phone. Make
He
sure
was
the
mechanic.
kids hear words. A
And I
kid
said,
coming
what
from
am
a
I
very
gonna do?
poor
He said,
school,
come down here
a
in
very
the
poor
basement
background,
where
will hear
mechanics
4 million
were
words fewer spoken by the time they get there. There's so much we can. No, I'm going to go like the rest of them do. Twice over.
And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up. He said, "You walk out with that chain." And you walk this
Unbelievable.
car and say, "You may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head." I said, "You're kidding me." He said, "No, if you don't come back." And he was right. So I walked out with the chain.
We like to troll. We like to go.
And I
the
walked
night
up to
before
my
one of
car.
their primaries.
And they had
do a
those
little
days,
trolling.
remember
It's
the
called
straight
we do a
race,
little
you'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty.
Bernie Sanders was very
car.
upset. Why would he be there?
And
Why?
then those
Because I
days,
want
you
to win.
remember the straight race, you'd bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty, bang them on the curb, bang them on the curb, bang them, bang them, bang them, bang them, bang them, bang them, bang them on the curb, bang them on the curb, get them rusty, bang them on the curb, bang them on the curb, get them rusty, put them in a rain barrel, get them rusty.
I hate the white man. He's of the devil. He was made in a cave.
First of all, I said, when I tell you get off the board, you get off the board, and I'll kick you out again, but I shouldn't have called you.
Get your words straight, Jack.
I apologize for that. I apologize, but I didn't know that apology was going to work. He said, "You apologize to me?" I said, "I apologize for that, not for throwing
Not a
out.
loser.
But I
He
apologize
was
for what I
a
said."
patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. And I resent
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know
got
Bo.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
I admit to always improving.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold this institution in contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices.
We've ended the war on American energy. We were in war. And we've ended the war on beautiful, clean coal, one of our great natural resources.
Have done it. I was trying to be a dad, and all of us have made decisions. When you've got two girls who've been cold for two days and haven't had heater power, and they're saying, "Hey, look, we don't have school. Why don't we go?
Not good.
Let's get out of here." Whether the
No good, really bad for you.
In person, in my office, in Philadelphia. That's where they should be done.
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting, "Pigs in a blanket," talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
Fuck. God damn it. I thought I clicked the button. Son of my... I said hello to everyone. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to say it again. So, I gave you the hellos. If you want, you can go back and read at the lips and see what I said hello to. But, see, it happens. This is just, you know, doing a little trolling here. It was all planned. It was all part of the plan. Just doing a little trolling. So hopefully... Woo! Alright. Joe Chen, Bitcoin is cheap today, buddy. Alright. Well, so let's get into the stream. Let's start the program. Let's begin the broadcast. I guess. So we'll begin the broadcast. What should I begin it with? Hello, Jeffrey. What's up? What should I begin the broadcast with? So I've got like so many good articles I could read. So many good ones. Like the stream, folks. Like the stream. BOGO. Yep, there's a BOGO going on. Max is a licky doggy. Breaking news. Goodbye, Sonic. Thank you for your contribution. Uh-oh. Max is coming in. Max is trying to say hello. He's gonna say hello. Oh, Max the doggy. You don't have to put your claws on me like that, buddy. Everybody. We've got a friend. We've got a friend, folks. Hi. We've got a friend. We've got a friend. We've got a friend. We've got a friend. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Look at this dog. My God. You're licking my coffee cup? Why are you doing that? Oh, don't lick my hand. I use that. Look at this dog. Alright, Maxie. Alright, it's showtime, buddy. Alright. You can go off and lick yourself or whatever. Alright. Thank you. Oh, I know. Thank you. Oh. Alright. Alright, folks. Oh. Max is currently rolling around, as you can see. Oh. Look at this fucking dog. Look at that dog, dude. Holy fucking shit.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, this like little strand of hair is really pissing me off. How do I fix this? All right. So, what's up, folks? Okay, so let's start with some fun stuff, shall we? Let's start with some fun stuff. So Dr. Fauci is at it again, folks. It's possible Americans may still be wearing face masks in 2022. Fauci believes that by the end of the year, the United States could have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been throughout the last year. You know, I personally, with this experience, and that's that the amount of the flu, the seasonal flu, has actually decreased tremendously because of COVID mask protections. I've also been double masking. But yeah, so like that's something we have to really and like, you know, why would you go to the grocery store with your mask off? Like, do you really care if people see your lips at the grocery store? You know, like I can say like maybe go to a restaurant, right? Like I could not personally envision a scenario in where I would go out without a mask on at any point, especially in the wintertime. Especially in the wintertime. But let's read this. This is an article from Fox News, so you know it's going to be juicy. Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Dr. Anthony Fauci, told CNN's State of the Union on Sunday that it is possible Americans may still need to wear face masks in 2022, even as the country could approach a certain degree of normality. While Fauci noted he can't predict when the U.S. could return to the way it operated during the pre-pandemic life, he believes that by the end of this year, the United States could have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been through over this last year. As we get into the fall and the winter, by the end of the year, I agree with Biden completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. I prefer the word normalcy. I don't like normality, and I don't like reading that over and over. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now. So let's watch the little clip here. Just kidding. I have Fox News muted.
You and the president have suggested that we'll approach normality toward the end of the year. What does normal mean? Do you think Americans will still be wearing masks, for example, in 2022?
You know, I think it is possible that that's the case. And again, it really depends on what you mean by normality. If
right,
normality
that's what I want you to define
exactly the way it... Yeah. No, Dana, it's important because if normality...
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Exactly the way things were before we had this happen to us. I mean, I can't predict that. I mean, obviously, I think we're going to have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden
I hate that word,
that all of us have been through over the last year. That as we get into the fall and the winter, by the end of the year, I agree with the president completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now.
Why do you think Americans might have to wear masks into 2022?
You know, because it depends on the level of dynamics of virus that's in the community, and that's really important because that gets.
Is normality really not a word? Because I know it's normalcy, but I just took for granted that normality. It is a word. The condition of being normal, the state of being usual, typical, or expected. Now, normalcy. The condition of being normal, the state of being usual, typical, or expected. They're both identical.
Back to something again that you said. If you see the level coming down really, really very low, I want it to keep going down to a baseline that's so low that there's virtually no threat, or not no, it'll never be zero, but a minimal threat that you will be exposed to someone who is infected. So if you combine getting most of the people in the country vaccinated with getting the level of virus in the community very, very low, then I believe you're going to be able to say, you know, for the most part, we don't necessarily have to wear masks. But if we have a level of virus that is at that level that it was months and months ago, like 20,000 per day is a heck of a lot better than what it's been. But that's still very high level of virus in the community. I want to see it go way down. When it goes way down and the overwhelming majority of the people in the population are...
All right, you get the point. I don't need to play any more of this. But basically, again, there is literally not a single possible reason why you would not wear masks, at least during the wintertime. I really don't understand all these people that want to go to the grocery store with no mask on. To me, again, who cares? Just go out, be protected, protect everyone else, and get your shit done with. No one goes to the grocery store no one goes to the grocery store trying to like hook up with a hot fucking date or something, like, unless you're looking at like the clerk at the fucking like cashier or whatever. Unless you're trying to impress them in some capacity, just fucking put the mask on, dude. Like, seriously, again, humans need to stop having these bizarre fixations on, like, I just will never understand that shit. Put the mask on. You will be seeing 2029, I will have my mask on at the grocery store, because why the fuck wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Like, seriously, it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's basic hygiene. That's as far as I'm concerned. I try to get laid at the grocery store. You get laid at the grocery store, like you find the like janitor's closet and you just go to town? The Fauci standing is mostly, in my opinion, Fauci went from just like a cool doctor on TV to very based when he publicly laughed at Donald Trump at the press conference. Do you remember that? When like Trump was up there, like I think it was when he was talking about like injecting bleach or something, and then Fauci just like laughed in the background. It was amazing. Let me see if I can pull up that GIF. See if I can find that. This is a classic. Look at this. It's so good. I love it. Oh, mama. Honestly, the guy's based. Like, I mean, like, again, like, is he perfect all the time? Of course not. But, like, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to laugh at Trump on live television. Jenny Marish, $9.99 super chat. Dear Max the dog's mom, please give this to Max the dog for cookies and other puppy snacks. Max the dog's biggest fan. Beans the dog from Indiana. Yay, Beans. I actually got him a new toy the other day. I think every time I go out of the house, I'm going to get Max a new toy. So I definitely will. Cookies and other puppy snacks. You got it? You bet? That's another thing, Edwin. Like, I'm wearing masks forever now because I'm paranoid and I have embarrassingly fucked up teeth. My teeth are fucked up too. Look at this shit. Right? I love masks. Hell yeah. Fuck going to the dentist, buddy. CJ O'Tonnell, $5. Super chat. From now on, I'm wearing a mask and distancing during every cold and flu season. Abso-fucking-lutely. There's no reason not to. There's absolutely no reason not to unless you're a dullard. I'm too poor for the dentist. Same, buddy. Last time I went to the dentist was when I was like 10 years old. And then I became destitute and never went again. I also didn't brush my teeth for like 8 years. Fun fact about me. I wear a mask to hide my face from the deep state Illuminati face recognition software. There you go. I mean, as a radical Antifa super soldier, I love wearing masks in public. It's amazing. Look at this dog. Look at this dog. You see that dog in the background? I love him. Mask use should have been encouraged for decades. I agree. I am a super soldier and also the queen. How else do you think I became the queen? Hello? This ain't like bees where you're just born and then the fucking everyone like loves you or whatever. So, by the way, everyone, I gotta plug myself. No. Not that kind of plug. Hear me out here. Reminder, when you give me super chats, I only get 80% of the money. So if you give me $10, I only get $8. But if you want to give me the full amount, you can give me money on PayPal, Cash App, or Patreon. HMU, folks. HMU. That stands for hit me up. That's what that stands for. It's code. It's code speak. I had a lengthy drug and alcohol fueled period for years on end where I didn't brush teeth either. Solidarity. I mean, I feel you. I don't want to get too much into my sob story, but I've mentioned this before where I had food insecurity and housing insecurity around the age of 14. around 13, 14-ish, and then I just like got really depressed. Yeah, so I was like, why bother brushing my teeth? I'm gonna die before I deal with the problem anyway, so I'm just gonna play some more Fallout 3, buddy. King and Queen of Antifa? Fucking Antifa! I love Antifa. When's the Antifa IPO? That's a great question. That sounds amazing, Guinea. If only. Alright, y'all. By the way, thank you everyone who showed up for Sunday Run Day yesterday. I had a great time. I had a great time, let me just tell you. So, appreciate everyone that showed up. If you didn't show up, I mean, joke's on you. You missed out on a good stream. There's an exclusive Christian summer camp story. I'm considering clipping it, but I don't know. I might not. But it was really fun. Alright, so I've got a very problematic and troublesome post here from The Hill. You ready for this? So almost half of Republicans would join the Trump party? Hold up. Let me get a sound drop that absolutely encapsulates this.
Unbelievable.
All right, so nearly half of Republicans say they would abandon the party as it is currently structured and join a new party if former President Trump was its leader, according to a new poll released Sunday. A Suffolk University USA Today poll found that 46% of Republicans said they would abandon the GOP and join the Trump party if the former president decided to create one. Only 27% said they would stay with the GOP, with the remainder indicating that they would be undecided. We feel like Republicans don't fight enough for us, and we all see Donald Trump fighting for us as hard as he can every single day, a Republican and small business owner, love that, from Milwaukee told the newspaper. But then you have establishment Republicans who just agree with establishment Democrats and everything, and they don't ever push back. Trump has not indicated the details of his political future, but after his acquittal in the second impeachment trial, Trump issued a scathing rebuke of Republican leadership, specifically Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. McConnell did not vote to convict Donald Trump, citing the unconstitutionality of convicting a president who no longer holds office. It's so fucking funny. But after the Senate's acquittal vote, McConnell said Trump was morally responsible for January 6th riot of his supporters at the Capitol and alluded to potential criminal prosecution of the former president for alleged crimes he may have committed in office. He didn't get away with anything yet, McConnell said on the Senate floor at this time. I love this. Mitch is a dour, sullen, and unsmiling political hack, and if Republican senators are going to stay with him, they will not win again, Trump said in a response to Mr. McConnell's marks. He will never do what needs to be done, or what is right for our country, or necessary and appropriate. I will back primary rivals who espouse making America great again, and our policy of America first. We want brilliant, strong, thoughtful, and compassionate leadership. I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
And this is just the beginning of America First.
Trump's top advisors say that they are focused on helping elect conservatives to Congress. Our goal is to win back the Senate, the House and Senate, Jason Miller, a senior advisor to Trump, told The Hill this week. We'll be looking at open seats, Democratic-held seats, and maybe there are plans or places where we'll look for upgrades and more MAGA-friendly voices. I have no idea why McConnell decided to lash out at the president this way, but when you do, you can expect to get hit back. Oh my God. The Suffolk University Today, USA Today poll was taken among 1,000 Trump voters, identified from 2020 polls between February 15th and 19th. It has a margin of error of 3 percentage points. Amazing. It's just, as far as the Republicans are concerned.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
All right, let's see how this plays. I really do hope Trump plays a third party. just for the splitting of the vote. I think it would make it in a potential situation where Republicans or conservatives would never win another election. But I think both of those factions know that. I think the Republican Party and the Trumpers, I think they both know that to some degree. But we'll see how that goes, right? Yep, this is just the beginning.
And this is just the beginning of America First.
So good. I've got another one. Hold up. Where is it? Joe Biden? Where is Joe Biden? My like meme clip folder is starting to get too big where I can't find clips like adequately enough. Where is Joe Biden? There it is.
You will file articles of impeachment against President Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. We're so good. God damn, son of a bitch. I hope that we get people further to the right than Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene in office, because it's just for entertainment value. Like, as long as they're they're incapable of actually hurting anyone, fuck it. Let's just like let the fucking freaks run throughout the circus. You know, that's as far as I'm concerned. All right. You made an appointment for the vaccine? Hype. I'm glad. Where's Hunter? I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter. Are there like any good Hunter Biden clips?
He was not a loser. People left were here, and I resent.
Are you talking
like
about Hunter? Are you talking about
I'm
Hunter?
talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know, Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know,
got
Bo.
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
for
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use, and he didn't have a job until you became vice president.
What do you think of the possibility of a large portion of elected officials running under the Trump party? I think if Trump makes a party, I think almost every single member of the House will do so. I think maybe the Senate. I would just look at those who objected to the election results and those who voted to impeach and convict. I think those that voted to impeach and convict will probably stay Republican. Everyone else, I think, are going to the Trump party. That's my reading of the situation. Was Trump in the military? Nope. President Bone Spurs? So, y'all are gonna love this. Y'all are gonna love this. So I haven't read this full article yet, but I'm sure it's epic. Because these things typically are epic. Hold up, my browser's slowing down. That's how epic this article is. Dodging the draft is one of the better things Trump did. Honestly, I agree, but, you know. Ancient aliens, if that happens, it won't really split the vote. When you really think about it, like, in deep red districts, you're right. But we're talking about, like, a lot of districts where, like, the swing is 5 to 10%. Right, and if you've got like 20% of Republicans that would like see that and go like, oh, these people are crazy. Like, you know, somehow, you know, maybe they haven't yet. But like, you know, like I think that would make a difference, I personally think. Give me a sec. Hell yes. All right, so you're gonna love this. All right, everyone. I want to start this segment by playing a clip.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get this sentence out, we can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
So, for those of you that don't know, there was a cult among left media figures in left media spaces that started to, gain prominence and popularity on social media, such as, Twitter, YouTube, and so forth. And they all rallied around a drunk loser who came up with this dumb idea called Force the Vote. And so here's an article from Business Insider about Force the Vote, now that it's kind of in the rearview mirror. And I just wanted to read this because I haven't read the full thing yet, and I think it would be really funny. So this article is entitled "Pointless Infighting Among Progressives is Becoming Exhausting and Harmful" from Manny Fidel. When a wing of progressives called on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to force a Medicare for All vote in the House, it drew a line in the sand for people on the left. Hashtag Force the Vote was an effort that intended to ostracize Republicans and centrist Democrats who don't support an overhaul of our nation's healthcare system. AOC didn't think it was a good idea, noting that forcing a vote that didn't have a chance in the House, let alone the Senate, could only cause friction among Democrats and harm their cause. Now, I want to say that as far as Force the Vote is concerned, they've already won, because this article is written, and this article is written in a fashion that claims that those people are on the left. Nico House is not a leftist. Jimmy Dore is not a leftist. I think people like Brianna Joy Gray are leftists, or maybe social democrats, right? But let's be honest, most of the people that pushed Force the Vote as hard as they could were not left-wingers. They were right-wingers that were performing in psychological operations to split the online left, right? And the idea that right articles are going to be written about them, calling them left-wingers, I think that is doing extreme amounts of damage. So let me go on. This disagreement created a loud faction of progressives who are now anti-AOC. They are seemingly led by comedian turned political talk show host Jimmy Dore, who in December said that AOC is now, quote, standing between you and healthcare, and went on to call her a liar, a gaslighter, and a coward. Let me play a little bit of an example of this.
They're not accountable to anyone. I get 10 to 12 million views a month, and they won't come out and address my progressive audience. They won't come out and address...
What are you talking about with that, Jimmy?
I'm talking about anybody who's a progressive in Congress who isn't endorsing hashtag the vote. All those motherfuckers who didn't show up today at our town hall. Every fucking one of them is selling you out and canceling you for their own personal gain.
So yeah, this guy, that's just one clip. This guy had multiple streams where he would get drunk and scream at people if they didn't agree with him and march with him in lockstep. This guy is not a leftist. Jimmy Dore as well, and I covered a lot of this. In fact, I have a whole playlist about this shit. Jimmy Dore also did a lot of very nice softball interviews with far right-wing militias, right? He also had socialists on his show and harassed and attacked socialists on his show. The guy is not a left-winger, right? And that's the thing. It's like, if you look at the situation right on its face, you'll say, oh, why are all these progressives attacking AOC? And that's the problem, is these people style themselves as progressives, but they are not progressives. And then when you see articles like this, people will read this and go like, oh, the progressives are infighting. No, 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 no. The progressives are not infighting. There is an insurgent amount of people on social media sites rallying around people like Jimmy Dore, Nico House, etc. They are not leftists, right? Again, similarly, and I know this is incendiary rhetoric and a lot of people get triggered when I say this, but similarly to how the Nazi Party called themselves the National Socialists to get some people on board. It's like, oh yeah, socialism, that's cool. We're National Socialists. And then some people don't really read the details. They don't read the fine print and then just support them. That's kind of what this is. Now, again, that's a little incendiary of an example, but fuck you, stay mad. Unthinkably, given her standing as the highest profile progressive member of Congress, AOC saw her Twitter mentions flooded with hate-fueled banter and accusations of being a sellout and a fraud. She'll be fine, of course, as that's just part of her job. But the impulse from progressives to turn on their own, and for relatively dumb reasons, has become a baffling spectacle and a maddening trend that stalled real change. Instead of infighting and bickering, progressives need to take a step back and understand what the best path to progress is. Right? But again, I don't think these people were progressives. Yes, there were a lot of people that are right-wing that supported Bernie Sanders. Why? Well, example. A lot of the examples that these people will point out is even in a lot of very, 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 very conservative parties in Europe, for example, they still agree with Medicare for all because it's just the basic human right thing to do, right? And so, again, their example is far-right parties in Europe agree with healthcare for everyone. The coalition of people that want universal healthcare, right? Again, look at the polls. 70 to 80% of Americans want universal healthcare. You think 78 to 80% of Americans are progressive or leftist? No. There are contingents of right-wing people in that group, and that's what we need to understand. You stab my back and I'll stab yours. The 2020 Democratic primaries were heated. People who were passionate about a particular candidate would sometimes wade into insults and ridicule on social media. Just about every candidate had a small but loud faction of supporters who would do this. But for whatever reason, Bernie Sanders' online faction got the most media attention. While Sanders continued to offer an inclusive agenda and even denounced the more annoying parts of his base, scores of liberals and progressives became turned off by even the thought of Sanders. They held this grudge despite his long-standing record on vital issues and humble demeanor. And this is the problem. Look at this. You see what this article is doing? You see what it's doing? It's tying together the Bernie bro myth with the force the vote people. I'm telling you this right now. Now, the neoliberals were to have smeared Bernie with anything and everything. But the fact that Bernie appealed to some right-wing base, right, especially in 2016, the anti-Hillary people, you have to understand, right, that makes him ripe for attacks, right? The idea that his policies appeal to anyone on the right, it's going to be weaponized and it's going to be used by right-wingers. Now, am I saying that everyone on the internet has to be like tone policing themselves to not offend people that are going to attack them regardless? No, not at all. What I'm saying is we have to be sure what's in these groups. When I went to Canvas and worked on the Bernie Sanders campaign, right, there were a couple people I met in that campaign, and I'm not going to name any names. They were transphobic. They didn't like trans or gay people. I thought to myself, why is that? Why would you be canvassing for Bernie Sanders if you don't like trans or gay people? Well, the answer is pretty clear. It's because Bernie's agenda speaks for all Americans, not just trans and gay Americans, right? So the idea that people would want to advocate for universal health care because their mother, for example, is maybe dying of cancer or something, you know, that doesn't impact their views that are maybe bigoted or socially conservative. So I want to, as an example, point that out. And again, that's not anything to say negative about the Bernie coalition. Again, that's to say how far right this country's parties are, and how that can be a problem in these situations. This became clear when Sanders, as the head of the Senate Budget Committee, asked Neera Tanden, Biden's pick to lead the Office of Budget Management, to reflect on her own attacks on social media, including personal attacks she hurled at Bernie himself. Tanden apologized for her actions, but if you looked under any tweet about the exchange, you saw countless accusations of sexism on Bernie's part, asking attacks on his character and a general sense of pure hatred for the man. This grudge against Bernie Sanders held by so-called progressives remains weird and a little bit sad, I agree? Especially considering how long it's been since the primaries. The disdain for the Vermont senator even affects the people he associates with. When Move On, a high-profile progressive advocacy organization, endorsed Nina Turner, a former Bernie Sanders surrogate for Congress, it was met with a wave of displeasure. The list of pointless grudges doesn't stop there. I'll be the first to admit I was upset with Senator Elizabeth Warren during the 2020 primaries. I felt she had undermined the progressive cause, not just by promoting a misleading story that implied Senator Bernie Sanders was sexist, but also by not corralling her supporters behind him when her campaign ran out of steam. Agreed. I think, again, from the get-go, from the jump, the 2020 primary was a Bernie versus Biden race. There's a reason why those debates were split into two nights every now and then. There's a reason why 89 people ran for president. It was all to limit and reduce the airtime that Bernie Sanders had against Joe Biden. That was the plan. They saw that Bernie versus Hillary, when it was just one-on-one, they saw Bernie rising, and maybe if they had just a little bit more time, Bernie would have been the nominee, right? And they knew that that was the case. And their inoculation plan for that in 2020 was to have everyone and their grandma run for president to muddy the waters. It was a Bernie versus Biden race from the jump. Elizabeth Warren and all the other freak shows knew that, and they narcissistically went on with it anyway because they don't care about policy. They cared about raising their personal profiles, and that's something that needs to be remembered. So I want you to understand that. I do not personally forgive Elizabeth Warren. Again, she was recently doing something really great, going after President Biden over the $50,000 cancellation of student debt. But that doesn't mean I like her. If a politician does something good, great. They did something good. That doesn't mean I have to like them. But now that a whole year has passed, it is easy to admit that Warren is a pivotal part of the progressive agenda and should be supported as such. Many progressives, though, simply can't get over that grudge. She's still a snake in too many people's eyes. Again, I agree with that. So I disagree with the article's writer here. I personally think she is a snake, right? That's my personal opinion. She's been a pivotal part of the progressive agenda. Proof? I'd love to see proof of that. Outside of this student debt cancellation plan, I don't see anything about that. These people are too petty to see that she's fighting for everything they want, including universal health care, a $15 minimum wage, and cancellation of student loan debt. It will be harder for progressives to accomplish these things if people who advocate for them aren't supportive of the lawmakers who make them happen. Again, this is where I'd start to disagree with the article, right? You can support a politician when they do good things. I do. Like I said, I made a video about Elizabeth Warren and was clapping. I was saying, hell yes. She made a statement basically calling Joe Biden a racist if he doesn't cancel $50,000 of student loan debt, right? And that's good, and that should be celebrated. But the whole point of critiquing politicians and pressuring politicians is to get them to change. Right? If Elizabeth Warren over the next year starts to redeem herself, if this is just the first part in her rehabilitation tour, I'll listen. Right? If she over the course of 2020 and 2021 wants to go out there, right, and do these amazing progressive champion causes, I'll listen. And if I feel like at enough of a point, if she does a lot more events and starts advocating more heavily for these policies, I'll say I'll put her back in the good column. But again, you can't just put someone in the good column if they're just putting their fucking finger in their mouth and seeing which way the wind blows. And that's what Elizabeth Warren is doing. I think, yes, it's good to support politicians when they do things that you like, but at the same time, you have to pressure them to continue doing so. However, pressuring them, right, is not by spamming snake emojis on Twitter, right? That was fun in the primary, and that was fun, maybe slightly after the primary, but the primary's over. Spamming snake emojis on Twitter, I'm sorry, it's fun in the chat room. I love that shit. Right, but it really doesn't accomplish anything. And that's, I think, the main point of what this article is trying to say. But these people are too petty, blah, blah, blah. It will be harder for I already read that. Okay, it's not just Warren who's been targeted by progressive grudges either. Like Sanders, Warren has fought for a slew of policies that progressives dream about. But for those who illogically consider them enemies of the progressive movement, that doesn't matter. As someone who spends a lot of time on Twitter pointing out the hypocrisies of politicians, I am not saying you shouldn't be skeptical of them in general. Even trivial forms of ridicule aren't so bad in the larger discourse, but the people should save their real disdain for an actual policy or platform they disagree with, instead of hating someone who's on their side for some trivial thing that happened more than a year ago. Debate is fine and encouraged, but the shaming and booing of one's own team is counterproductive. Now again, I think it's very suspect to call Elizabeth Warren on this team. Elizabeth Warren's, outside of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right? Elizabeth Warren's chief contribution to politics has been tanking the Bernie Sanders campaign. Think about that. So her first major contribution was the CFP, and look what happened to the CFP under the Trump administration, right? Look what happened, right? And her second chief contribution to political discourse in America was destroying Bernie Sanders' campaign. Yeah, sure. She makes a good statement on Twitter every now and then, But you have to look at the grand scheme of things. That was her role in that position. Her role was to destroy the Bernie campaign for hopes of a position somewhere in the Biden administration. And now, look what Biden's doing. Biden's just ignoring her. Has Biden responded to her calls for 50,000 student loan debt cancellation? Yeah, he has. To say, fuck you, bitch. 10,000 at best. Good job, Warren. Good job. And again, does that mean she's canceled? No. Canceling a politician doesn't do anything, right? You have to judge their actions at each given time. And her largest contribution to American politics was destroying any hope we had of getting that student debt cancellation. So that's my point there as a point of disagreement. Figuring out who the best options for progress are shouldn't be nearly this complicated. Think of the things you support and support the politicians who agree with you. Naturally, when different strategies toward progress are debated, things may get heated. You might grow weary of someone who has less tolerance for them. That's totally fine and normal even, but progressives holding these year-long grudges against other progressives can only hurt the ultimate goal. Now again, Force the Vote succeeded. What was their goal? I covered this. Some dumb bitch on the Gray Zone was talking, I think Max Blumenthal, was talking about how the goal of Force the Vote was to drive a wedge between regular people that are poor and suffering and any hope of alleviating that suffering. This is a right-wing psychological operation, and the idea that someone who's writing this article doesn't know that, to me, is sad. You have to understand, again, Bernie almost won in 2016. If it weren't for bizarre things like New York having a 6-month pre-registration deadline or whatever, he might have won. Right? We'll never know. If it weren't for Donna Brazile leaking questions to Hillary Clinton at town halls, etc., and shutting down polling places and voting booths, he might have won. We'll never know that. Right? But ever since that moment, the right, the neoliberals, they've been plotting of how to prevent a second attempt at Bernie Sanders. And then that's why you see people like Nico House, who was supporting Tulsi Gabbard in the 2020 primary. His role was not to support progressive policies. His role was to destroy the Bernie campaign. Right? And that's why you see Breonna Joy Gray, again, in this bizarre clip.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in Force the Vote.
So you see the former press secretary of Bernie 2020 teaming up with Nico House, who didn't even agree with Bernie's campaign, right? This alliance is an alliance that's designed to destroy the left wing, right? And there's a lot of people that are falling for it, and I feel bad for them. But the idea that they are even calling themselves left wing, that's the problem. Articles like this where someone can think, oh yeah, Nico House is a progressive, right? And Nico House fans are progressives and they just disagree and they're being petty. No. They're being brainwashed to become further to the right. I wish Bernie Sanders was the Democratic nominee in 2020, and I wish Elizabeth Warren, after realizing her campaign was toast, had done more to solidify his chances. But both of these officials, along with the newly chastised from the left AOC, again, AOC is not chastised from the left, have a moral fortitude that's actually pretty rare in politics. They serve us, but we have a role to play in their success. We just have to be smart about it. So I agree with most of this article, but again, and this is something that a lot of people have been getting wrong. Nico House, Jimmy Dore, all these people are trying to define themselves as far left. They're far left. Like anyone who disagrees with them is a neoliberal or a rad lib or a sellout or a health insurance executive, right? That's what I've been called. I'm an anarchist, and they call me a radical liberal. Wait, remember the last time radical liberal was in the news? Right. It was when Kelly Loeffler, a Republican, was using it against a run-of-the-mill, maybe slightly to the left, Democrat Raphael Warnock in Georgia. These people use Republican language. They act like Republicans, and their net gain, their actual contribution to politics, are something that Republicans would like. And you have to understand that. They are not the far left. This is not the far left, right? I am the far left. The far left is smart enough to know that these people are dumb as shit, okay? And this misconstrued idea that, oh, somehow these people are to the left of me, and therefore that makes them crazy, only feeds into this horseshoe theory bullshit, right? Like, and I have had conversations, right, with, you know, people that are relatively popular in left-wing media spaces that have parroted this idea, and no offense to them, that Nico House and Jimmy Dore are the far left. They are not the far left. That idea needs to be destroyed. That idea needs to be looked at, examined, and laughed at. They are right-wingers in sheep's clothing, nothing else, right? The far left is not attacking AOC, right? It's the far right disguised as the far left, and that's something you need to be able to see through. The idea, right, what they're doing is they're trying to inoculate people against left-wing ideas, right? They want people, right, to say, oh, that person's far left, and ignore them, because they don't want the far left to take off. They don't want anarchists and communists and socialists to gain more power. They want their power to be destroyed. And that's what they're doing. They're making the brand look bad. They're destroying the brand of socialism, communism, anarchism, right? Without even understanding the brand at all. And they're getting hundreds, or if not thousands, of angry poor people to be manipulated for their smear campaigns. Look at the People's Party. Do I think everyone on Twitter who is a People's Party Jimmy Dore fan is secretly a right-winger? No, I don't. I think a lot of them are poor and suffering and are being manipulated and abused online. I think Nico House and Jimmy Dore and Nick Brana are absolutely right-wing plants. I think they are absolutely doing this for personal profit and to destroy the left. And that's what they've done. And then you see articles like this in Business Insider, of all places, that is claiming that these people are to the left of AOC. They are not to the left of AOC. Not in any way, shape, or form. So, anyway, that's me getting off my soapbox. How was that? Damn, that was like a fucking, what was that, like 20-minute segment or something? Jesus, I got no life, folks. But yeah, I haven't talked about Force the Vote in a while, so I had a lot to get out. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Is everyone good? Everyone happy? I'm happy. Happy! I'm sorry, I've got like a sneeze, like there's something lodged in my nose that needs to be dislodged, so bear with this. I might need to do some excavation. It's like sharp. I've got a sharp booger in my nose, and this is the content you crave. I know. I've got a sharp booger in my nose and it hurts. Alright, we're good, folks. I don't have... First of all, use Kleenex? What are you, a fucking capitalist? Oh, I know. Use a top brand. An expensive brand of tissue. What are you, a capitalist, Captain Spock? I hate when people do this, by the way. Same thing goes for a Band-Aid. It's called a bandage, motherfucker. Not a Band-Aid. When people synonymize, right, a general item with a brand, that's a huge problem, right? That is like a victory to capitalism. There's a lot of people who just say Kleenex instead of tissue. That's a huge fucking, that pisses me the fuck off. Captain Spock is canceled. Absolutely love ya. Kleenex is not a generic term. I've got news for you. Go on Google. Define Kleenex. Oh, right. It's a brand. Come on now. Don't fall into marketing. Every soft drink is a Coke. Every video game is a Nintendo. I use paper towels because it's the only thing in arm's reach. God, I don't know. I had a sharp-ass booger. Hate when that happens. Alright, let's see what else we got here to talk about. I know. Cancel culture is at it again, folks. Real quick, during this moment, I would like to plug myself. No. Not in that fashion. I'm talking about giving me money, folks. What you got to do is you got to look at the chat, right? And I'm going to post 3 links. And you got to click those links. And then give me all the dollars in your bank account. Duh. It is not a generic term for tissue, Captain Spock. I'm sorry, buddy. You're a sucker for capitalism. Every toilet paper or every paper towel is a bounty. Oh, go get some bounty for that. I've heard people say that. Every, gelatinous dessert is Jell-O. You want some Jell-O? No. That's how capitalism gets into your brain. And if you want capitalism in your brain, tell that to the world. I do. I'm telling it to you right now. Everyone that says Kleenex in my sphere, they get a talking to. And Band-Aid and Jell-O. Fuck them. That's unnecessary marketing for a brand. Are they paying you to say Kleenex? Are you getting a paycheck from them? Because if so, keep it up. But if not, well, I'm not nitpicking, buddy. This is called vamping. Been doing that for 4 years. When do I get my reward? Oh my god. I use soup to clean my nose. I love soup. I might have soup today. Home, please. 0p, I played a Doom WOD called Ancient Aliens while ingesting a particular substance. Are you old enough to know what old people use as generic terms? I don't care what old people use as generic terms. They're called tissues. Like, I don't give a fuck. There is a brand called Kleenex, and they make money off of you every single time you say Kleenex. I'm just telling you, that's how capitalism works. That's literally a branding exercise. You are falling for a branding exercise. I'm just saying. If you want to continue doing free marketing for a brand, feel free. Oh, someone want to grab me that Nestle? Anyone? Come on. So speaking of cancel culture, I saw this article in my feed, and to be honest, I was shocked. I was appalled, and I was enraged. The woke mob, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who's decided to get over that kind of bullshit. The woke mob is at it again. The Muppet Show. Disney adds a content warning over negative stereotypes. To be honest, folks, to be honest.
Unbelievable.
The woke mob is at it again. So this is, I'm reading from the BBC. Disney Plus has added a content warning to the beginning of 18 episodes of The Muppet Show, which started streaming on the platform on Friday. By the way, I should get a Disney Plus account for this. The programme includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures, it reads. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. The woke mob, everyone, the woke mob. This disclaimer has been added to each of the episodes for different reasons, including one where Johnny Cash sings in front of the Confederate flag. The Confederacy thank you BBC for reminding us, was the group of southern states that fought to keep slavery during the U.S. Civil War, and the flag is seen as a symbol of racism by many.
Unbelievable.
Disney's disclaimer added, rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. The advisory note comes after several months of revisionism. 1984, folks. This is 1984.
Unbelievable.
Around films and TV programmes, which could be considered offensive by the standards of today. The reassessment of old content was prompted by the Black Lives Matter protests last summer and has sparked a debate around programmes and films ranging from Faulty Towers and Gone with the Wind to Little Britain and Bo Selecta. Never heard of any of that bullshit. The 18 episodes of The Muppet Show with the warning have been picked out from 5 series of Jim Henson's series, which was a big hit in the 1970s and 1980s and starred Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. Thank you, BBC, for telling us the stars of the show. Aside from Cash, other guest hosts of the episodes in question include Steve Martin, Cleo Lane, Spike Milligan, Debbie Harry, and Kenny Rogers. According to the LA Times, the warning refers to negative depictions of people from other cultures, including Native Americans and those from the Middle East. The publication also notes that 2 episodes from the final season are left out entirely. One featured Chris Langham, who was a writer on the show and stepped in to host after a celebrity guest pulled out. The actor, who went on to star in Armando Iannucci's The Thick of It, was sentenced to 10 months in prison in 2007 for downloading indecent videos of children from the internet. That's actually, like, genuinely
Unbelievable.
However, another episode starring the guest host Brooke Shields is absent from Disney Plus for a different reason: music rights. Anyway, I'm glad that they at least didn't remove the episodes altogether. Again, like, there's a lot of people. The reason I started the show with this clip with the woke mob bullshit is because when you look at any of the comment sections to any video from these clips, you'll see a bunch of people crying about, like, cancel culture, SJW, and it's extremely funny. But again, I mean, that's what, like, this is the best possible thing to do, is explain to people, yeah, this shit was dumb, right? But there were a lot of people that were dumb in the 1970s. There were people that were dumb as rocks in the 1970s who thought the Confederate flag was cool. I actually watched the Johnny Cash segment, and they had the Confederate flag right next to the United States flag. How do they do it, folks? It's because they're dumb. They're dumb as cum, and you got to figure that out. So again, watching the episodes with that warning puts you into the right frame of mind to understand what these people were thinking, and it was a different time. And again, that doesn't mean that they should be canceled and destroyed and desecrated for all eternity. It just means you have to understand these people are dumb as fuck. And also, Disney Plus has the Muppet Show? I'm gonna get Disney Plus now. Who's with me? Anyway, again, the woke mob is at it again, folks.
Unbelievable.
Frank Oz, the puppeteer from the Muppets, was my neighbor in the 70s. I need proof, Captain Spock. I need proof. I'm glad we're back on the generic term thing again. The generic term for Band-Aid is adhesive bandage. Exactly. Bandage? Bandage? Band-Aid? Takes the same amount of time to pronounce. Shut the fuck up. 0PE. Shut the fuck up. Okay? The Muppet Show is amazing. It's beautiful. And it's tremendous. You have insulted me, my good friend. You have insulted me beyond belief. I call them bandages. I need a bandage. It's not that hard. Man, I really gotta pick my nose. Hold up. Thank God. All right. Damn, that thing was like starting to hurt me again. My boogers are fucked up right now. I don't know. Don't worry, I wiped my hands off. Rule number 1 of Above It All: don't shit talk about the Muppets. That's rule number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You don't need to say adhesive, Captain Spock, but bandage is just like what you call them. That's what it is. You've never heard someone call them a bandage? Are you kidding? You've never heard bandage before in your entire life? To me personally, if you're 61 and you've never heard someone say bandage,
Unbelievable.
I just... Bandage is used for something larger than a Band-Aid 95. No. No.
Unbelievable.
No, you're wrong, folks. Folk, even. You're wrong as hell. Ace bandage? Yeah, you can specify the size of the bandage. Sure. I got a little cut on my finger. I need a bandage. Language is beautiful, folks. Language is beautiful. We call it duct tape and a paper towel. Hell yes. You bandage a wound. You don't band-aid a wound. Thank you for supporting my point, Captain Spock. You're finally starting to see the light. Oh, I understand how common it is, vocal majority. I had to unlearn this shit. I always called them Band-Aids, Jell-O, and shit, like, all the time as a kid. I had to unlearn it. Because I don't want to do free marketing for a company. Think about it. When you say Kleenex, oh, get me a Kleenex, right? And if someone's at the store, they are more likely, right? They are more likely to, when they pick out a brand, to get the Kleenex brand instead of a generic or instead of like a cheaper brand or whatever. You have to understand that. It's all subconscious. Because most people don't know what capitalism means. Most people don't know, like, they don't think about this shit. It's all subconscious. That's why, like, again, unlearn all that shit. It's not hard. Just start saying tissue. Tissue. Kleenex. They take the same amount of time, folks. Also, you can rhyme with tissue. You got an issue? Grab a tissue. What can you rhyme with Kleenex? Help me. I climaxed and I need a Kleenex. I don't know. Like, that's the best I can come up with. Sorry, tissue's a better word. Captain Spock, you are underestimating the subconscious effects of capitalism. I presume it's because you're in your 60s and you're already too far gone. Throw us a freestyle. I'm too nervous. I can't do it. I cleaned my ex. I mean, there you go. I'm just saying, like, this is not a hill to die on. Like, to me, it's bizarre that you'd be dying on the hill, unless you're just a capitalist. If you're not an anti-capitalist, I get it. If you're just a capitalist and you don't care. But I guarantee you 100% of people, when you say tissue, will know what you're talking about. There's not a single human that will go, oh, do you mean a Kleenex? I don't know what a tissue is. They know what a tissue is. When's the good news show? That's a great question. I think that'll be coming on next. I just salt the wound and let my dog lick. My God. Kleenex could be any one of their products. Exactly. What if you ask someone for a Kleenex and they show up with like paper plates or something? You're fucked. And not in a good dick way, folks.
Unbelievable.
I'll do call-ins sometime this week. Above it all, it's the generic term for a news show. Oh my god. Peanut butter, stop. Fucking peanut butter. I close all my wounds with peanut butter. Lala telling me what was a generic term way before. What? It's not what was. There is no what was. It's what is. Again, have you ever met a person that's like, what's a tissue? Like maybe like a 3-year-old, right? It's like, oh yeah, like go get me a tissue. What? What's a tissue? You've never met that person? That person doesn't exist. Go get me a bandage. What's a bandage? What? Your example of Band-Aid being a specific size is dumb as hell, by the way. Because Band-Aids, like, they make all separate sizes. There's like, the typical one that's like, the fucking, this size, right? But they make big ones. I've seen Band-Aids that are fucking like, to put on your knee if you scrape your knee, like falling off a bike or a skateboard. So this whole example that, oh, no, the Band-Aid refers to a specific size. I'm sorry, buddy. Capitalism is poisoned, yeah? I'm telling you, you might be 61. I'm 24. If I go downstairs and talk to the Zoomers in my family and ask them for a tissue, they're going to know what I mean. They're not going to say, what's a tissue? I've never heard of that before. I don't know what a tissue is. I've never heard of a tissue. Do you mean a Band-Aid? No, wait. What's a tissue? I'm sorry, buddy. You're losing me. You're losing me, buddy. I love fighting over dumb bullshit, by the way. It's so good. I got a Powerpuff Girls variety pack. Thank you very much. Oh my god. Toasted pastries. Pastries. To be honest, let's be honest. Pop-Tarts are not toasted pastries. They're just sugar in purest form. They might, Captain Spock. They might. Again, it's all subconscious. Like, you have to understand, capitalism is subconscious. People, like, it's all about, like, a fucking 51% thing. Not even that. It only needs to be, like, 10% of the time that someone will pick Kleenex. A lot of people just think generics are bad and that brand names are the only way to go. Again, you're underestimating the effects of capitalism on the brain. What you're talking about is not a bandage. I'm gonna fucking...
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ
would ever say Kleenex instead of tissue. Anyway, with that being said, I'm about to move into a story that will pull at your heartstrings, and therefore you cannot criticize me on this at any point. So, in the Texas freeze disaster, I have covered some stories about how children have died, and I wanted to cover this update to a story that I unfortunately didn't get to yet. And so here's the story. Family of 11-year-old boy who died in unheated Texas mobile home sues power companies for over $100 million. For more than 24 hours last week, Maria Elisa Pineda's pastel green mobile home outside Houston had no power and heat as temperatures plunged to 9 degrees, I presume Fahrenheit. On Tuesday, Pineda found her 11-year-old son, Christian Pavon, dead under a pile of blankets on his own bed, a death authorities suspect was a result of hypothermia. Now Pineda is suing two major Texas energy providers, alleging Christian would not have died had both companies alerted residents that the outages would last several days during the dangerous cold snap. The lawsuit, filed over the weekend, first reported by the Houston Chronicle, has also accuses Energy Texas and the ERCOT of failing to protect the state's independent power grid from a historic deep freeze that left millions without electricity, heat, and water for days. The power providers, long before any of us knew that they would not have sufficient power to protect us, and they didn't tell us that, Pineda's attorney, Tony Busby, told the Washington Post. You have people that died because of that. It's not acceptable. We're going to hold people accountable. This is the first step of many that needs to be happening. He added the power providers lied to us in Texas. Not just the power providers, but the governor. Reminder, the governor of Texas went on Fox News. It's the wind turbines. It's the Green New Deal. So the Green New Deal has historically been blocked by Republicans, but also it's the result of the Texas freeze? So you defended Texas from the Green New Deal, and that's why the Green New Deal froze the wind turbines? Right? I think all of these people should be sent to prison. Pineda's lawsuit is among the first legal actions brought against the state's energy providers as Texans wrestle with whom to hold responsible for dozens of deaths and billions in damages in the last week's catastrophic outages. Busby, who told the Post he is representing at least 7 other Texas families who died in the dangerously cold temperatures, said he expected more litigation against energy providers. So far, at least 58 people have died in the 2 major winter storms since February 14th, according to data compiled by the Post. More than half of the deaths, 32, have been reported in Texas, where President Biden has since declared a major disaster. I'm glad that he's declared the disaster. I don't know what that does, but hey, he said words, right? Authorities say the death count could rise, as well as wellness checks in coming days reveal the full magnitude of the disaster. Pineda is suing both companies for gross negligence. The Conroe Tex family is seeking damages, funeral expenses, and a judgment of more than $100 million, according to the lawsuit. Representatives with Entergy and ERCOT did not immediately respond to the Post's request for comment as of early Monday. In a statement Saturday to KTRK, ERCOT said the company had yet to review the lawsuit before responding accordingly. Our thoughts are with all Texans who have and are suffering due to the past week, an ERCOT representative told the station. I'm not going to read the rest of that. Fuck that bitch. Entergy, which serves small portions of Houston and Harris County, said in a statement to KTRK that the company would not comment because of the pending litigation. We are deeply blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Christian, who was born in Tila, Honduras, came to Texas in 2019 to reunite with his mother, whom he had not seen for over a year, Univision reported. The family's mobile home lost power on February 15th. But the otherwise healthy boy complained of any illnesses or cold. Never complained of any illnesses or cold, Pineda told the Chronicle. The last pictures and videos Pineda had of Christian were taken on that day when the boy saw snow for the first time. Think about this. This kid is like, oh, snow is so cool. Builds a snowman, does a snow angel, goes inside, tries to sleep, dies. After he skipped in the blanket of snow that covered his backyard for about half an hour, Christian played with his toys and went to bed with his 3-year-old stepbrother by 11 p.m., the Chronicle reported. At some point that night, Christian's stepfather woke up to check on the children, who were both still responsive, his aunt, Jeliza Ura, told KTRK. But Christian never woke up the next day. About 2:30 p.m., his mother found the 6th grader's unresponsive body on his bed. Despite his family's attempts to revive him, Christian was pronounced dead on Tuesday afternoon. The results of his autopsy could take several weeks, the Chronicle reported. Conroe Police Sergeant Jeff Smith told the newspaper that Christian appeared to be a normal and healthy child. All of this could have been prevented, Pineda's lawsuit claims. Christian would not be left to die in a single-digit temperatures if the providers had been more honest with consumers or customers about how long the power would be out, according to the lawsuit. They would have been able to try to protect themselves because obviously we're going to protect our children, but we weren't given the information, Busby told the Post. Again, these are all deaths directly attributable to capitalism. You know all these dumb motherfuckers that go out there and say, communism killed 100 million people. You know those stupid bitch-ass motherfuckers? Do they ever keep count of the amount of deaths related to capitalism? Hell no. Why? Because capitalism is an ideology that tells you if you die, it's your fault. It's natural selection. That's what they say. So no one can possibly die because of capitalism, because capitalism is all about picking yourself up by your bootstraps. That doesn't make any fucking sense. The companies, the lawsuit alleges, also put profits over the welfare of the people by disregarding recommendations to winterize power infrastructure following a 2011 severe winter storm. Because ERCOT has the country's first independent grid, it is not subject to federal regulation or required to equip the electric grid for the winter. Still, the lawsuit alleges, just because it is not legally required to do so does not mean that failing to do so is reasonable behavior. ERCOT failed all Texans and allowed providers to fail Texans. All of Texas, rather. All Texans. They mixed those up. Busby said the companies failed Texans by not disclosing the true severity of the power outages. They left many, like Christian, unprotected during the frigid darkness. We failed this child, Busby told the Post. There is no amount of money for that. There is no amount of money that equals a kid. It's just disgusting. All of these people need to be marched out in handcuffs. Anything less than that is a crime against humanity. Everyone, every executive at ERCOT and all these other energy companies marched out in handcuffs. Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz, Dan Crenshaw, all these other dumb fuck motherfuckers marched out in handcuffs. That's what they need. Anything less is treason. Anything less is a crime against humanity. It's fucking disgusting. Meanwhile, people are being charged $17,000 for a week of electricity. I covered that yesterday. $17,000 for a week of electricity. Capitalism is a death cult. The sooner you realize that, the sooner we can outgrow this disgusting prepubescent phase of human civilization. Anyway, that about wraps up my stories for today. Hit the like button, y'all. $47 likes. You're telling me this stream is only worth 47 likes?
Unbelievable.
Oh, that will never not be funny. I also want to give a shout out to an account on Twitter, by the way, that y'all should be following. If you follow me, who you should follow is also Andrea Out of Context, the Twitter account here. As you can see, there are some hot clips. I am not in charge of this account, but there are hot clips posted, I think, every day. And if you ever see something that's funny, you can feel free to send clips to this account. This is great stuff, very entertaining. And I may even convert those to YouTube videos at some point, but definitely go check them out. Funny stuff, folks. Funny stuff. In Grand Theft Auto 5, I getcha, Top Damage Wizard. I understand the impulse. I do, trust me. But, again, I think it's very important to resist that impulse. Because that just creates a feedback loop or a cycle, in my estimation. But I'm not here to get into the, you know, morality of short term, like war versus like long term. I'm not here for that. Would you mind sending that to me on Twitter for tomorrow, Ferret? I don't care about voting on Nira. That doesn't matter to me at all. To be honest with you, I hate Nira Tandon, of course, and it's gonna be funny to watch it, but like it really doesn't matter to me at all. Also, hey Bodan. Yeah, my playthrough of Ancient Aliens was, I hope it was fun to watch. It was fun to play. Let me just tell you. Ancient Aliens has a hell of a lot of purple, a lot of green, a lot of cyan. Oh, beautiful, beautiful colors. Let me just tell you. Do I like Sesame Street? I never watched Sesame Street that much. I think I would like it, but I would have to watch it. Making mining cards so they can make more cyber trash added to the power uses. I have no idea what you're talking about. Bernie interview with Wolf. Can you send that to me on Twitter or something? You absolutely should watch, especially like the first 3 hours. Well, honestly, you should watch the whole thing. What the fuck? Honestly, you should watch the whole thing. God bless, right? That was actually like the first time that I played video games while ingesting specific substances, and that was an extremely fun time. And I can't wait to do it again. Why don't people just buy dedicated Bitcoin miners? They exist. That's a good question. I would assume money. Captain Spock, I am going to rip your fucking hair out, motherfucker. In Minecraft, of course. If you continue this bizarre campaign, you want to know what this campaign is doing for your mental health? You know what defending corporations is doing for your mental health, Captain Spock?
No good, really bad for you.
Yeah, someone send me the Wolf Blitzer Bernie Sanders stuff. I know one thing. Before I end this stream, you know what's necessary? You know what's necessary before I end this stream? You know what's necessary? A wiki feed update. I know. Bodan, I'm sorry. But we gotta update, folks. This is extremely important. So, it appears that the veteran users of WikiFeet are very much so enjoying my content. As you can see here, the Real Lover Boy, member since 2012, 9 years ago, this person has joined WikiFeet. Very much so a fan of my soul. We've got Cloud8, who is a new member of WikiFeet. Again, rating a 5, since I hear she'll be applying some nice nail polish. Again, if I get 55-star ratings on WikiFeet, I will be painting my nails live on stream. My toenails live on stream. 55-star ratings. We have Got, I hope it's not Be Cool, whom I've definitely never heard of, saying, oh, whoa. Beautiful. We've got another Duder McGee, gorgeous toes, 5-star, beautiful feet. Amazing. We've got Stiltman, another veteran user who's been here for 5 years, just mentioning my tweets about WikiFeet. Hopefully they can mention this video as well. And as you can see, I've only got 14 upvotes on WikiFeet. So again, this is an incredibly important campaign. If you can't donate to me, if you can't subscribe on Patreon, what you can do is upvote me on WikiFeet. Thank you. Oh, God. I don't get it. I mean, I don't get it either, personally, but it's really funny. So, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's hilarious, so.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
Alright, folks. I think the stream is basically over. I appreciate everyone for being here. I'm glad that y'all are enjoying the streams and so forth. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions before I tune out? Over the course of the next week, I'm going to try to set up a call-in system. So, I'd much rather see Wiki ass. Oh my fuck. I bet you would, 0PE. I bet you would. See you soon. I will see you soon as well. Do I think the USA should be given back to indigenous? That's a difficult question. I would say very much so, partially. The problem is, like, you know, we got to figure out a way to live in harmony. So, like, the obvious, like, you know, desecration and destruction of, you know, tribal land and so forth and sacred locations is obviously disgusting. But at the same time, there are a lot of people, that would be displaced in that situation. So I do think that, yes, a lot of these places should be given back to the people that they were stolen from. But at the same time, I would prefer if we just lived in a communist society where everyone could share everything. That's what I would prefer. But as far as, like, policy that we could implement, I would say you should just give everyone access to, like, Wyoming, New Mexico, Utah, all these dumbass fucking states that are, like, big squares. Just give them all back. I'd say that that's a good start. Andrea, invite Francesca on. I would, I guess, sure. Okay, here's what you gotta do. This is a multiple layered thing. Fun police. So step 1, you tell her that she should come on my show. Get that into her brain, right? So that when I eventually, you know, send the invitation, right? It's already in her brain, and she'll already feel compelled to do so. So step 1, put it in the brain. Step 2, execute on what's in the brain. Step 3, question mark, question mark. Step 4, profit. How do you undo nationalism without just doing a different nationalism? I don't know. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. for 500 bucks. Damn right. I'm a capitalist, baby. Give me that cash. Those guys you said are riding your coattails, they had Harvey K on the show this morning? Damn. Sure, if Narcissa Wright and I do not get along, I think that personally she is one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met. And we just don't get along. We used to talk on a more frequent basis. But, like, she's got this bizarre fascination with Elon Musk and capitalism and Andrew Yang. And it's like, there was a point where I had to, like, just cut it out. Andrew, did you hear about Ben Shapiro's lame movie? No, I did not. I think both your comedic takes would be explosive. Yeah, she's pretty funny. I agree. But, I mean, I would love to talk to... If Narcissa wants to come on the show, open invitation. But she is too fascinated with capitalism and, like, these tech bros. And I think it's just a giant disaster, and it's a big shame. I remember I was in her Discord once, and we were arguing about Andrew Yang, and I mentioned that Andrew Yang is pro-apartheid, and then she said, "What's apartheid?" And that's where I was like, this is an unserious person. Shortly thereafter, she deleted her Discord. And that was my last interaction, so what are you gonna do? That being said, obviously, I mean, she's got a lot of people that hate her, and that's disgusting. So obviously I don't want to echo any of that. But she's also not bright. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's not worth explaining. But, yeah.
Win by go. You know the thing.
Bodan, I already responded to you. I think you left when I was talking about feet, unfortunately. So I'm gonna, instead of responding to you a second time, I'm gonna tell you to go rewatch the stream and see where I responded the first time. That's right, I'm sending you on a little bit of an Easter egg hunt. Legend Randy, I would prefer if you did not, utilize dead names to describe someone. I do not agree or endorse that behavior, and I would prefer if you would never do that again. Watch time go burr. Damn right. Give me that watch time, baby. You have to make it so your guests can hear the soundboard. I do, yeah? I do? I think I know how. I think. I just have to try it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I gotta look into those. I'm sorry. I'll definitely look into them. I promise you. There's a lot I need to look into, but, I can help with the soundboard. I bet you can, Jeffrey. I bet you can. If I gifted you Hades, would you play it? It's built for speedrunning. Is that the game with the big booty bitch where you crawl through tunnels? Because if so, yes. Y'all make your grits with sugar and butter? I don't know what any of those things are. I still do not endorse or agree with that behavior in any capacity, Sharif. There's other ways to describe that without using such names. Like, for example, you could say former world record holder for Ocarina of Time or something. Like, if someone's going to recognize that person's old name, they're going to recognize, you know, other descriptors. So? It's an ARPG, like Diablo. Also a roguelike. Interesting. Well, maybe. I don't know. I get a lot of grit on a personal level. Let me just tell you. Damn, I really want a salad right now. Fuck. All this talking about bad food makes me want to eat something. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I love each and every one of you. You're all beautiful and amazing people. And we're going to do great things together. We're going to do great things together. Y'all, myself, etc. We're going to do great things. So, I'll see y'all very soon. Get the fuck out of here. Upvote me on WikiFeet. Follow the Out of Context account. Like the stream. Give me money on Cash App. Give me money on PayPal. Subscribe to my Patreon. Tell your friends about the show. Advertise the show in your Discord servers, each and every one of them. Talk about my show to your friends and family. Discuss my show with your dog, etc. Thank you. Goodbye.
No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get the sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, you saw how things had changed. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for me. 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse.
Everybody digging my chili, what I'm laying down, that is not true.
And by the way, I don't think that's some grand conspiracy. I think this is sort of what power is. I mean this at a sort of high level.
Get your words straight, Jack.
Dumb people, liberal people.
I'm about to be 34 and I have no family.
And he's like this, and we were, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And this is on live television.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
And then they have cans of soup.